I want to start with a question that, on the surface, seems pretty simple. What is school for? But as we're about to find out, the answer is anything but simple. In fact, it's a question that completely shapes the destiny of millions. And today, we're going to explore 4 totally different answers to figure out what education is really all about.
So really, what is school for? Is it for learning, for opportunity, or is it for something else entirely? Well, we're about to see that the real answer has almost nothing to do with textbooks, and everything to do with the unwritten rules of the game in the society you happen to be born into.
Okay, so our first stop is Ghana. This is a nation that's really living with a deep colonial scar, one that's created 2 completely separate realities, 2 different calendars, and of course, 2 totally different answers to our question.
Wow, this one quote right here gets straight to the heart of it. You see, for a subsistence farmer in northern Ghana, the choice isn't really between education and ignorance. It's a completely rational calculation between some future promise and, well, immediate survival. When the rains come, every single hand is needed to plant. A lost week of labor can mean a lost harvest. It's as simple as that.
And you can see the results of this reality in the data. It's a stark, measurable gap. The colonial legacy poured resources into the South, and you can still see that divide in exam scores today. I mean, look at this. In the urban South, more than 80% of students pass their core math exam, but in the rural North, it's barely 20%. The system is basically designed for a world that, for many of these kids, simply doesn't exist.
So it's so important to understand this isn't about being anti-education. It's about a different kind of math, the arithmetic of survival. To them, a school certificate is like a currency that has almost no value in their local market. Sending a child to the city is a massive gamble, a lottery ticket with very long odds. And on top of all that, for many, the school system feels like it's trying to erase their language, their heritage. So in that context, choosing the farm isn't just a choice, it's the logical choice.
Okay, so if school in Ghana is a choice between 2 different worlds, our next stop, China, shows what happens when there's only one path forward. Here, education is a single, incredibly high-stakes race, where the state acts as both the gatekeeper and the builder of the walls.
This quote from a migrant worker, it just cuts right through the myth of pure meritocracy. Of course, hard work is essential in China, but it's not enough. Your starting position, literally where you were born, can matter so much more than how fast you can run. And these are the 2 mechanisms that define that position. First, you've got the Gaokao. Think of it as the gate, a single, terrifyingly important exam that basically sorts out a student's entire future. But then you have the Hukou, and that's the wall. It's this household registration system that determines which schools you can even get into, creating this huge, invisible barrier. And this is exactly where the gate and the wall collide. It's wild. To get into the exact same elite university, a student from rural Henan needs to score 99 points higher than a student from Beijing. Just think about that for a second. 99 points. The Hukou system creates completely different rules for the very same game.
And the human cost of that wall? It's just staggering. 69 million. That's the number of left-behind children in China, kids raised by their grandparents in rural villages, because the Hukou system literally prevents their migrant worker parents from enrolling them in city schools. It's an almost unimaginable price for a national policy.
All right, let's do a complete 180. From China's top-down state control, we're going to pivot to a radically different approach in Chile. Here, a huge national experiment reframed education not as a public good, but as a product in a marketplace, complete with consumer choice, vouchers, and intense competition.
You can just feel the exhaustion in this parent's voice, can't you? The big promise of the Chilean model was that all this choice and competition would lift all boats. But the reality for so many parents is just a constant, stressful search for a school they can simply trust. It basically transforms parenting into a form of anxious consumerism. And this is the game they're all forced to play. It's this annual cycle of anxiety. Imagine, you're poring over test scores, trying to create a ranked list of schools, and then you enter this centralized lottery, basically just rolling the dice on your kid's future. Education becomes a gamble, and the parent is responsible for placing the bet year after year after year.
And the result of this whole market system is pretty clear. Public education, which used to be the default, has been completely hollowed out. The majority of students now are in these subsidized private schools, creating a really deeply segregated system where the quality of your education depends heavily on your family's ability to pay and to play the choice game well.
Okay, for our final stop, let's look at a totally different logic. Let's go to Finland, a system that isn't built on competition or survival, but on a foundation of professional respect, equity, and just a profound sense of social trust.
I love this quote. The metaphor is just so powerful and it says it all. While all these other systems are focused on sorting kids onto different ladders of success, Finland is focused on building a strong, solid foundation for every single child, because they believe the whole society rises together. So how do they do it? What's the secret? Well, it really starts with trust. There are no high-stakes national tests until a student is 18. Teachers are treated like absolute top-tier professionals. Every single one holds a master's degree and is given huge autonomy in their classroom. And universal welfare, things like a free hot meal for every single kid, ensures that poverty isn't a barrier to learning.
And this is the incredible outcome of all that trust. This simple statement is actually revolutionary. By making sure there's universal quality, the Finnish system just gets rid of all that intense parental anxiety around school choice. You don't have to play a lottery or move to a better district because your local school is designed from the ground up to be excellent.
Okay, let's bring these four worlds back together. We've seen education as survival, as a sorting mechanism, as a marketplace, and as a public good. So what does it really look like when we put them all side by side?
This is where it all clicks into place. You can see each system runs on a different core logic, which creates different gatekeepers. But here's the row you really need to look at: parental fear. It reveals the emotional heart of each and every system. In Ghana, the fear is a useless certificate. In China, one bad test score. In Chile, a bad lottery number. And in Finland, the fear is complacency. That one single row explains every single parental tactic we've talked about.
Ultimately, what this whole journey shows is that every education system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. So the question really comes back to us, to you. Take a look at your own local schools, the anxieties of the parents, the pathways of the students. What is your system truly designed for? Is it designed to sort, to select, to sell, or to serve? The answer, I think, reveals the deepest values of the world you live in.